Hi, this is Scott Jordan, and you are watching live here at Cellars of Sonoma in beautiful Railroad Square, Santa Rosa, California. And welcome to TV Tuesday Live. This is the show where we taste wine, we talk about wine, and tonight we're going to taste some of the rest of the wines in our wine special that we've got going. I've got my son Kevin in the house.
Hi, everybody.
And so I thought it'd be kind of fun. You and I could taste through the rest of the wine specials, which are pretty cool, 30 to 50% off.
Is that because we're getting close to the end of vintage, or are we
Yeah.
selling them out, blowing them out?
Yeah, they're wines that we're right down to the end of the vintage. Some of them have only got a few bottles, but some a couple cases. And so we want to make sure that we offer. No, we're not having live music tonight. But we're having a live. It's only Tuesday.
Music's on Thursday.
Through
Saturday.
But if they want to come in and sing, that would be fine. We'll accept that. Yeah, so you get 30 to 50% off on 3 or more mix and match. So it's cool among like 10 wines.
And then what happens if they order a case? Do you do a special promotion on case on?
No, it's already discounted pretty good at 30.
Good stuff?
So
okay.
30 is pretty good. That's industry pricing.
Well, I mean, you got holidays coming. You might as well be purchasing some wine because you do have your in-laws coming in town. You got to give them some good wines, right?
Yeah, and in that list, there's a Pinot from James, which we tasted last week.
Absolutely.
There's a couple of Zins. We're going to taste one of them tonight.
Great.
There's the Ideal Red, which is a red blend.
Beautiful
killer.
blend. Yeah.
Which I have an 8 and a 9 vintage, but I only have 2 bottles left of the 9.
So you have a side-by-side.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Oh, that's like a mini vertical that somebody could do through the holidays. Would be kind of fun.
And get a deal on it.
You had me at a low.
I just love that.
Absolutely.
So tonight we're going to taste an 09 Chardonnay from Deering. We're going to taste James's 2012 Chardonnay, Russian River Chardonnay, and then the Deering 2009 Zinfandel.
Yep.
And then we're going to...
we're also going to try the Super Sonoman Rosé.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And the Super Sonoman Rosé. I didn't have the notes on it. That's why I didn't.
Pretty easy. It's rosé.
Yeah. Well, but this is unusual. We're going to be... This is not
probably
your...
It's probably one of the biggest rosés you can find in the valley. So,
and both sides. I mean, I don't know anybody who does a Meritage, number one, and then 18 months in brand new French oak. I mean, what the heck was
Well, it is Super Sonoman. If you're going to go super, you might as well go.
He's not kidding.
Exactly.
And then we thought we'd put a little bigger wine in there. A Moon Dance is in here of the Malbec, which is a pretty nice, and that's in the Wine Club shipment currently, which we're going to talk about Wine Club. And then we're going to finish with a Demi-Sec Chardonnay, which is a little an unusual little wine on the sweet side. If you like a dessert wine, that works really well. And they got 50% off on that, so it's like $9 a bottle. I mean,
but it's a perfect wine for at the very end of your Thanksgiving dinner, and you need or Christmas dinner. You need a little something sweet. Some people love tawnies, ports, and a Demi-Sec works just as great.
well, and sometimes you get these guests that come over that aren't, big wine drinkers, but so they always want to start with the sweet wines, so you can throw that one out.
Well, you got
$9 a bottle.
White Zin is still the #1 varietal in the nation, so I mean, it's not like people don't drink sweet wine.
You're right. You're right. So I know those of you that are viewing right now, you had a lot of options to watch tonight. You could be watching the debate, which you can just go ahead and record that and then play it back later. This is way more important for right now. But
yeah, because as soon as we're done, the Warriors are going to play tonight, and they're going to win 9 games tonight. So
and life is good. So yeah, come.
Absolutely.
It's supposed to come out. Yeah,
we're scaring people outside. So
yeah. Yeah,
and it
you can come in and taste with us. It's not a problem. It's a complimentary tasting, so that makes it even better. It's on the house tonight, so you gotta love that.
Yeah, that's why when people are here in town, the best part is to come down and see this.
Yeah.
No one else does this, so what's really fun is you are how many years in a row now have you done this?
6.5 years. You could
So you're
say.
roughly about 340, 350
Yeah,
shows
you're the math
consecutive.
dude, right?
I just did it for you.
Okay, good.
That's part of my job. My job is the numbers. His job is his job.
Well, let's get to the first wine. This is a 2009 Chardonnay. And when you see the bottle, you'll be really surprised by the shape of the bottle. Sure. It was a 100% single vineyard Chardonnay, dry farmed, 40-year-old vineyard. They only yield 1 to 1.5 tons per acre, which, man.
So for those who don't know what dry farming is, what dry farming truly means is there is no drip irrigation, no water sources at all. It's all natural. It's what comes from the soils. It's what comes out from the top to bottom. And so you can't add water. You can't have water through the processes, such as the time when you need to water, which is bud break, flowering, and veraison. And so for dry farmers, which a lot of Europeans do, is something that they do, and it just, you get what you get from the soils. And that's dry farming.
Oh, that's okay.
I had to get in there. I'm sorry.
You know, you're filling in for Dave, you know, and he does that geek stuff. So
well, I do work at a winery that does, you know, we do more of a deficit irrigation. So we do have drip irrigation, but we still do forms of dry farming where it really is, the more you stress the vines, the more you actually make them work for it. The harder they do work for it, well, the farther their rootstock's going to go down, which means you will get higher concentration fruit. You will get more minerals and flavors, which means you're going to get higher concentration fruit. You're not going to get the massive yields, but it's all about flavor.
Well, and that's all you're looking for. Got to love that. Those of you that are tuned in for the very first time, if you look just below the video box on your screen, there's a little chat box, and you can click on that and ask us questions, and we'll answer them live. So do that. You have to
give yourself a password.
Yeah. Well, actually, you just go in through Twitter or Facebook, and you sign in that way, and you're good to go.
Great.
Now, let me just tell you, this wine was 3 days cold settling. It was 50% of the Chardonnay was put through malolactic fermentation. So it's going to have a hint of the oaky buttery. 8 months in 50% French oak, 50% stainless steel.
Yeah. So for those who doesn't know what malolactic fermentation is, well, malolactic fermentation, it is a geeky term, but in the terms, you almost want to think of just butter. And so it's secondary fermentation. So fermentation is stainless steel tanks, turn your sugars to alcohol, fermenting with yeast. And then if you ferment in a barrel, that's where the transformation comes into play. You're going to transform malic acid, your green apple and acidity, into more of the lactic acid, which is more of your creamy, buttery tones, which is typically more of a California trend for Chardonnays, which you typically see with the golder tones in the color. When you look at here, you get that beautiful, rich color, caramel tones, caramel flavors, which gives you, you know, your typical buttery notes of Chardonnay.
Yeah, and the fact that they went 50% malolactic, and then they put half of it and left it in stainless steel, it's an interesting concept. It's not going to impart a whole lot in the oaky buttery, but it does have a little hint. I mean, you notice a little bit right there.
I think more or less they're trying to keep the minerals and flavors. So they're still trying to keep it new world, old world, but not as aggressive with the oak and the butter, keeping that nice soft finish.
Hey, Jen, let me have that bottle back unless you're going to pour that. No, that bottle in your hand. Yeah. It's an unusual style. If you take a look at the bottle, that's not your typical Chardonnay bottle, that is. Do you know why they did this?
Because he had extra bottles to use?
No. Well, that would be one. That would be one.
Pretty much why I would do it.
That would be one. No. They started out selling wine in the Asian market. And in the Asian market, they did not like this shape of a bottle. They wanted everything to be in this style.
Because it's easier to put into a...
I don't know. They had a real problem with it. And so they said, we want it in this style.
Now I'm going to investigate that. On the next show that I'm in this, I will have why they do that and what is their purpose.
Yeah,
I'm going to investigate.
It's part of their marketing. And then Deering, after the 2009 vintage, didn't do any Chardonnays. They looked at They did a Grenache Blanc
Sure.
and kind of went
So
in
this is
that
the,
direction.
This is the vineyards from my old property.
The Mayacamas, yeah.
So from where me and my girlfriend used to live, which is at the base of the Mayacama Mountains or Cundy Estate, is where his property was.
Wow.
And this is where the Kistler vineyards are. This is where some of the big famous areas are, where when you dry farm an area like that, there's a lot of hillside, so you still get a lot of runoff. So when you dry farm on hillside, the runoff is your support. So that's why all the valley stuff is what still soaks up all the water and still has that great flavor. This is nice.
I know. We really didn't do much with this wine, and then when I was putting together some wine specials, I realized, we haven't done a whole lot with this wine. Let's blow it out and let people enjoy it. And I think, at that price point, that's going to do really well.
I mean, with your acetones and everything, you are starting to get a little softer. You're getting a little more in the golder tones. This is wine to drink, and I'm sure you've only got so many cases left. So
there's not a whole lot. There's maybe 2 or 3.
If people want to know what to drink right now,
this all day long.
Ready to go. It's a beautiful wine for Chardonnay lovers. Food friendly. I mean, this is going to go great from the beginning of your meal to the end.
Well, they say here when it's cold, oysters and scallops would be a good pairing.
I'm good with that.
At room temperature. Now, this tells me that the winemaker wrote the notes, because only winemakers are the only ones that I know of that really enjoy Chardonnays at a room temperature.
Now, why?
Well, because it gives more of the expression of the fruit.
Sure.
And that's kind of what they're looking for, but most consumers aren't. But I see it all the time with the winemakers, and they say then you could pair it with a creamy pasta, soft cheeses, those types of things.
Absolutely.
Brie
well, when you
would be really
typically get Chardonnay, most people are used to room temperature Chards because that's where the expression of the creamy, buttery tones come into play. As it's colder, it's going to be tighter, therefore it's not going to release those aromatics, why oysters and more acidic things work better.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun when you do that 50-50 of stainless steel, malolactic, you can play both ways.
Yeah.
So you could use it more appetizer, meal. You can really go both ways. Is there a right way to whether it's better if it's cold or warm? No. It's all preference. It's all style. I like Chardonnays a little bit cooler. You might like them a little bit warmer. And
No, I clearly do like them. In fact, what I do is I tend to leave them in our back fridge, which is very, very cold, and bring them out to open up for the guests. Because I like serving them real cold. I really do.
For people who always want to know is, some people buy wine fridges and they have 2 different gauges on them. One will say 55 and one says 46. When you store your whites, you store it correctly at the same temperature. And why your fridges say 46, because people like to serve your whites colder. And that's why our fridges are 40s and something like that, so you can serve colder. So if you have a friend who has preference for cold, just put your hand underneath it and warm it up. It's just another way to release your expression of your flavors.
Yeah. And if you don't want to warm it up, get your hand off the bowl, because, what the hell.
And by the way, they make a stem for a reason.
That's right. That's right. All right.
That's what I was always taught.
So next is James Family Cellars. This is their 2012 Russian River Chardonnay. However, for the previous vintage, it was Sonoma Coast. And we've talked about this before, but the Sonoma Coast appellation was overtaken by Russian River because there was a lot of lobbying that the soil and weather conditions were...
The one winery who lobbied to get it.
Well, but they argued and said, this is more like Russian River.
Sure.
And therefore, it does say that on the label, and therefore, they're going to end up with...
So from where they're located, which is on the Katati side, which is near the Petaluma Gap, yes, they are on both the Russian River, Sonoma Coast side, but the one reason why a lot of people love the Russian River is the Russian River label is so well known. People know of the Russian River label versus the Sonoma Coast label. And a lot of those vineyards, I believe, are owned by Gallo, correct?
Well, Gallo owns everything from where James' property is to the freeway.
Which is
right next door.
A lot of fruit.
It's a huge, huge property.
And Gallo wants to use Russian River on label because people can identify Russian River over Sonoma Coast.
Yeah.
Now
this
Steely.
this Chardonnay, they did about 80% malolactic. They put it in 9 months in French oak, 25% new, 75% neutral. It's all Chardonnay. They only made 124 cases, so we're talking about pretty small production wine.
But they've only been making Chardonnay for
A couple of years.
Vintages,
Yeah.
right?
It's a neighbor's property that's just west of their property.
So therefore, this could never be considered an estate fruit because they don't own the property. Correct?
Here's the rule on estate fruit, in case anybody was taking notes. On estate fruit, you can call it estate fruit if it is fruit that you own either on your own property or at another location, but you own that vineyard. Or you control the vineyard from the ground up. Or it's located where your production is done. Those are the only times you can use the name estate on your label.
Now, you don't have the James, but the other part of the fun part of labels, which can get a little confusing for a lot of people, is the reason why we now put Russian River is now we actually get to say,
Ooh, that's nice.
when we put on the label here,
Lime.
and we go through the Russian River Valley, we now get to state that at least 85% of the fruit must come from Russian River Valley.
Right.
Which means, yes, you can play with the other 15. This is 100%. But as long as you have at least that 85, you get to now label it. Now, prior to Russian River, Dry Creek, Alexander Valley, and Sonoma Valley, do you know the very first AVA in Sonoma County? Prior to the 70s?
Prior to the 70s.
Early 70s.
The very first AVA would
Sonoma
be
County.
Los Carneros. How'd I do? No? Bad?
Bad.
Well, I just, I mean, you're throwing a major.
So-
Let me just modify.
Please.
There were a lot of Italians that came out here and planted up in Dry Creek, and so my second question, based on your comment of my first, would be Dry Creek. Was that right?
Also incorrect.
Damn! I'm running out of AVAs.
The only reason why I say this is, so I work for Chateau Montelena. Our Chardonnay is the award-winning Chardonnay that was the first Americanized wine to beat the French. And on our 73 Chardonnay, the label actually says Napa and Alexander Valley. And when I went up to my boss, Bo, which I know where the vineyard is, which is the Russian River, and it's the Bachkalupes, which is on West Side Road. And when I asked Bo, how come it doesn't say Russian River? And the very first AVA in Sonoma County, which was Sonoma, Russian River, Dry Creek, and Alexander, was all Alexander Valley. And then in the 80s, they broke across. And
Did the label say Alexander Valley, or
it
just
says
said
Napa and Alexander Valley?
Napa and Alexander Valley?
So
How
the first
interesting.
AVA in Sonoma County was actually considered Alexander Valley, which is now all four valleys in the one.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty cool, huh?
That's very cool.
A little fun fact.
Nice facts. That's.
I get the little tidbits because,
I like that.
being a born and raised Sonoma County, I know where the vineyards are located.
Yeah.
And it was a great question for me to ask
I
because
like it.
just like when your biggest issue with the 101 on the freeway sign is when you drive the 101 and it says Napa Sonoma to the 37, that really kills Sonoma County. Because
Yes.
people don't know where Russian River, Dry Creek, and Alexander Valley is because you just need to stay straight. And I think one day we'll actually get to lobby that and fix that sign. But that's always been the biggest confusion because if you take right on 37, that's not Sonoma County. That's Sonoma Valley.
Well, Sonoma, the town of, and I've had a lot of people call me on the phone and go, "Where the heck are you?" And I go, "Where are you?" And they
You're
go,
like
"I'm
30 minutes away.
I'm on Broadway." I'm gonna go, "What'd you go that way for?"
But that's the
You know.
101 because
Yeah.
when that
That's
sign was
terrible.
put up, that was the hardest part. Where if we could just put another sign that said Sonoma County straight, which would represent Russian River, Dry Creek, and Alexander Valley, it would really clarify for me working in Napa, I hear a lot of people just say the word Sonoma, and they really don't know that means Sonoma Valley and not Russian River,
Yeah.
Creek, and Alexander Valley.
Well, guys, get your act together. Let's figure that out. For heaven's sakes, my God.
Just need to help people.
Really nice Chardonnay. 2012 was a great vintage. Great price point. Retails at $30, $21 on 3 or more mix and match. That's
Now,
just
with
crazy.
this style, more acidic, more minerally, more green.
A little more going on in the mouthfeel, too.
Definitely, I would lean not so much on the heavy side of foods, but more lighter foods. More of your appetizers, more of your seafoods.
They say here Dungeness crab,
I think I nailed it.
which we're not going to have this year. Did you read in the...
I heard we're not going to have it till at least our normal time of January, February.
Yeah, I mean,
we're going to have a
none of
little
that
gap.
really fat.
So apparently for Christmas, we don't get to have our crab season. So for you guys in the snow, I'm sorry, we don't get crabs. So we're both in a lose-lose situation.
God. But a pasta Alfredo, I could do that. Chicken dishes, yeah.
Nice and light.
Oh, yeah.
Great acid.
Beautiful.
Now, with the acid of this Chardonnay, I believe it's going to lay down beautifully. I mean, you're going to be able to hold on to this thing for a good, 7-10 years, no problem. That's truly only the way we can age our white wine.
Well, and you have to be careful with Chardonnays. If you are laying them down, I recommend that you grab a bottle every 6 or 8 months, see where it's
Absolutely.
at. Monitor the wine, or call the winery, right? And they'll tell you. You guys taste through their wines all the time, right?
Absolutely. We get to go back and make sure of this concept. Is the worst part about aging wines is if you bought a bottle of wine. I mean, I just had a guy the other day that came in here into Montelena, and he finally got on a list on a high-end Chardonnay house, and the guy was so excited to hold these down for 20 years, and I had to give him the bummer news that they're not going to age over 5, which at least saved him his wine, because then he didn't have 12 or 15 bad vintages, but he's going to drink his wines quicker because he now realizes if you go through the ML, you're losing the acid, and the only way to age these things is acid. If you don't have acid, you're gone. Because with white, you're lacking one key component into aging, and that is something that red has. Starts with a T.
Tannin.
There you go. So the key component into aging red is
tannins. I was wondering where he was going. I'm going, what the hell is he talking about?
So with me being in the industry, this is fun. I get to have fun with my dad, and because he started in the industry a lot longer than I have. I've only been in it for a little over, actually 3.5 years now, Montelena, but I did start 4 years here. And it's been fun learning, and I now know why you got into the industry, because it's a lot.
I got in the industry completely by accident.
I
got Mom a job over at Sebastiani.
That's a great story, by the way.
No, but it was really
It's a
true.
really good story.
I was in the life insurance industry for 16 years, and I was looking for a job
Get a piece
change.
of the rock, right?
And I went to a job fair, didn't see anything. I saw a sign for Sebastiani, and it had a long description. It said event manager, and I go, wow, my wife can do that. So I went to the little gal that was running the booth, and I said, are you here to fill this job? And she says, yeah. And I go, okay. And I took her sign down. She goes, what are you doing? And I go, no, you said you were here to fill the job. And she goes, yeah. I go, go home. You're all done.
See, Brad, I know you're listening, and you could totally see my dad doing that.
I'm
Could
telling
you
you,
imagine
I
seeing
did.
my dad?
I swear to God, I
This
did.
is 20 years ago.
Well, yeah, just about.
Yeah, we're almost 20 years. Can you imagine my dad 20 years ago doing that?
I did, man. I said, so I told her, I said, well, you can give me your card, but you need to go home because this is over. And they hooked up, and my wife ended up creating Sebastiani's event department, which you see today. And she would invite me or ask me to come over and pour, and that's kind of how I got hooked, because I would start pouring wine, and they got to taste it. And unlike life insurance, they didn't have to die first, so that was kind of cool. So
and you're still just talking to people.
and it was something they got to try, and I'm like, you mean to get to try it first? What the hell? I like that.
You mean you get to drink this stuff and enjoy it?
But here's this was the tough part. So I wanted to get in the business, so I sent out resumes to all these wineries.
Sure.
And I got all these rejection letters. And I thought, what the heck are you thinking?
What am I doing wrong?
Well, I sell the hardest product on the planet. This is wine. You get to taste it. How dumb could you be? You don't even want to hire me? You got to be kidding. So I got in my car with the letters, and I grabbed the letters like this. I walked in the taste room on a Saturday, and I went, I want to talk to this person.
Well, first of all, and you picked Saturday, which is like the worst day to ever drop an application.
Well, it was the only day I had off that I could go
First
and
of
do
all,
that.
never go in the valley as an industry person dropping business cards or anything, because that's the busy day.
Well, I didn't care because I figured that person would be there, and they were.
Oh, they're there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So I got 2 offers that day, and one was Pine Ridge, and I didn't know much about Pine Ridge, but I asked some people in the business, and they went,
"Ooh,
boy, are you stupid. Go back and taste the wine, dummy."
But you got to remember, you were still in White Zin in that day. So.
Well, I was working up.
But that's how wine works. I mean, I remember me going into the valley. I went all over through Sonoma County, dropping the same thing. Just we love the business. It's a great business, but it's a hard business because you kind of have to know people to get into it, or you got to get face to face with these people.
Well, when I thought that I wanted to do outside sales, and the very first day that maybe it was like the second day I started, the manager was in the room. I go, I'll work in the tasting room, but I really want to work
outbound
on the outside sales. And she looked at me and she said, "Scott, you don't know shit about wine. you don't know a damn thing about wine. You're going to learn everything you need to know behind that bar." And I thought, and I just thought, I hate you. And, it was really, you know what? She was right.
Totally right.
Totally
Absolutely.
right. Oh my God. And I went out and did some calls with some of the sales reps, because I knew the wines pretty well after a while. I hated that.
It's a cattle call.
It's a cattle call. Who the heck would do that?
You're sitting in line with 12 other people going, "Try it," and the guy's going, whatever.
And then he's only buying like a case or two. I'm like, really? In that same time frame, I would have sold 20 cases.
But you got to have patience for that. I mean, people have that style of
No,
sales.
I have
and
no.
Some don't. For me,
You can keep that.
and the one thing I always get to say thank you for is you allowed me to have the ability to have that face-to-face customer service that you can't teach that. That is a well-known, either you got it or you don't.
Well, anybody that has ever worked here, if they don't have that right up front,
Well, they don't
work here.
That's why if you do
I can't
work as
teach
a
hospitality,
bartender or a server, the wine industry is the easiest route for you to go.
Yeah.
And the one thing you're going to love about it is it's a fun industry. It's really a cool industry to meet a lot of fun people. It's just as hard as being in a restaurant, but the bottom line is occasionally they pull out some pretty cool wines for you to try.
Yeah.
Fridays our industry or our hospitality party, and we get to pull out the old stuff.
Oh, this Friday you're doing hospitality?
No. This is our harvest party for the staff.
Oh, for the
at
staff.
Cellars, where it's nothing but old Duns,
Nice.
old vintage wines that we've been collecting, which is kind of the bonus. Do you have a question? Where
Brad's
is he?
coming where?
Of course, Brad's late. It sounds like we're opening up Fun Wines tonight.
Oh, boy. Well.
You guys might want to hang around for a while. You might want to hang around for a while. Now we're making people nervous, so it happens. Sorry, we didn't mean to throw them.
Don't make people nervous. All right, give her the mic. Okay,
Johnny on the
all
spot.
right. Okay, Johnny on the spot.
So I've been here for probably about 3 days now, and I found that most of the red wines I've liked have been from Alexander Valley.
Yes.
What's the difference between, why do I like those more?
That's a great question. And we planted her. What did you pay her for that, by the way? Alexander
By the
Valley.
way, did you see Robert Young? Did you go to Robert Young?
Okay.
You haven't seen all of Alexander Valley.
Yeah, you gotta.
We got more work for you.
The reason that you're liking Alexander Valley wines is because they give you a very soft finish, and that's part of the soil and weather conditions that you'll find in Alexander Valley. So when you're looking at wines, or when you go home and you're looking at wines in your normal market, and you don't know much about the winery, if you see the name Alexander Valley, you're going to get that same experience, which is wonderful, a soft finish. We're gonna pour an Alexander Valley wine, and it's a Malbec, which is normally very tannic, but it's very soft. So that's what you're liking.
You typically like bigger wines, Cabernets, and so when you're in Sonoma County, you're closer to the ocean. So Russian River is now known for the Chards and Pinots because those grapes actually have thinner skins. They can't really handle the heat, But as you start to move north, now you go to Dry Creek and Alexander Valley. Dry Creek is known for Zin and Syrah. And Alexander Valley, now that you're going east, you're going inland again, and it's getting hotter. So bigger varietals come into play. So this is where the cabs, your big Malbecs, your Cab Francs, all those bolder flavors come into form because of the heat. So as you move north of Napa, the first valley is Knights Valley, which is still Sonoma County, going into Alexander Valley, which means you're going to see the big cabs. So for being in Sonoma County, if you're looking for bigger wines, you need to go to Alexander Valley because of the heat. The heat brings the wines. If you like softer wines, you need to go to the coast. We call it the microclimates of California. It's just different weather patterns, which means different varietals you can produce. So you found more cab style, which means you're more like the Napa style, but not in Napa. So that's fun.
So
So
Alexander Valley
question.
worked for you. You got another
Love
question.
Alexander
Go ahead.
Valley.
So for her, she likes really big cabs, really big wines.
Yes.
Out of what we have in the room here,
Yes.
Super
what would
Sonoman.
you suggest?
Well,
Super Sonoman.
No.
yes. You want to. Well, we're going to taste. We're going to taste the Malbec from Moon Dance.
So when you're
That's a
asking about
pretty big wine.
Okay, so
Well, you have
no,
great
no.
taste.
So do you want big as in flavor big, or do you want oak and tannins and umph? Yep, yep. Sure. Your best bet
So
with
darker fruits and
darker fruits would also mean hotter years. So hotter years equals darker fruits. Colder years equals red fruits. So if you get certain vintages like 2005, 2012, 13, 14, 15, you're getting bigger, bolder flavors because of the heat. Heat equals darker flavors. Coolness equals red fruits. So depending on certain varietal and certain winemakers, they can make that on all of them. You picked Pirate, you picked the #1 winemaker in the world. So you kind of went well with that with Heidi Barrett. You try some of her Syrahs, and you get the big, bold flavors. It's amazing.
her Syrah. Is that what you're drinking? Her Syrah? Oh no, that's Super Sonoman.
But Super Sonoman makes
Oh, the
bigger.
2007 Syrah. Yeah.
Yeah, so 2007 is a Goldilocks. So it's not too hot, not too cold, but perfect. But the way Super Sonoman makes their wines are a lot of extraction. A lot of extraction with the flavors, the oaks, and the profiles. So it depends if you're looking for oak balance or if you're looking for major flavors. But pick hot years. That'll always help you. 2005, award winner. For me, yes, he's 2006 because he wants to age them longer.
No, 'cause I like pretty wines and sixes.
A little
are
more
fine.
elegant. Elegant.
But
would
you're
be
heading
more
in the
six.
right direction. You're drinking that 07. Yeah. And the Super Sonoman Syrah wasn't big enough for her. That should rip her tongue off. That'll rip your tongue off.
You'll be fine.
That's the Super Sonoman. Yes, absolutely.
Wait until Brett opens up another La Serena 05.
Yeah, that's rocking.
I'm glad it's my Friday.
All right, so thank you. Those are great questions,
Great
by
questions,
the way. Good. So this is a Knights Valley Meritage. 4 of the 5.
I still don't smell rosé. I've been sitting here smelling this going.
Look at the color. You don't
It's
even
not
get it in the
rosé.
color.
So
18 months in brand new French oak. It's Cab, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Cabernet Franc, I believe. I don't think it has all 5. I
you
think
got
it's
4.
a 4.
Okay.
I don't have any more tasting notes on the wine because I have very little of this left. And what I have in here, I think, is all there is. But I'll tell you what.
I bet you he has like a couple hours of skin contact. So for those who don't know what Meritage or Meritage is, which I like the way Meritage sounds, a little rolls off the tongue a little bit better. For the geeky people, it's Meritage, which is Merry Heritage. That is basically the Society of the United States of Bordeaux. We're not in Bordeaux. We cannot call things Bordeaux, so we call it Meritage. And I remember when I first started here, you told me that as long as 3 of the 5 Bordeaux's were present, we get to put it on a label. Then when I told my boss that, he told me 2 of the 5. So as long as
Oh, it could be 2. Yeah, right.
as long as it's 2, you get to put it on the bottle. unfortunately, as soon as you put it on the bottle,
You got to pay a royalty.
pay a royalty to the Meritage Society.
That's right.
So basically what it's telling you is it is a blend of at least Bordeaux's, but you only have 2 of the 5 have to be present. In this wine, 4 of the 5. But if people who are afraid of rosés, don't be afraid of this one. I don't think it's a rosé.
Well, when we did we do a panel tasting when we taste the wines. We don't taste with the winemakers or owners. We never
I remember
do.
when we did this one.
And when we got to it, I went, what the heck was that?
It's too much.
So we put it aside, and we went down, and we got to the Syrah, which is what she's tasting over there.
That wine
I
is
went,
wonderful.
what the heck is happening? But it was such a big wine, we put it aside. We went all the way back, and then we started tasting again, got to this, and it opened up, and I went,
It almost needs
What
to
the
open
heck
up
is
like
that?
a red wine.
it really
It
does.
almost needs to
It really
breathe.
does.
And what's amazing is he proves his bigger, bolder extraction wines. For the people who love rosés, don't be afraid of rosés. Rosés are dry. They're summer wines. They're
Yep.
beautiful. For people who are red only, it's your white wine, and it's great. It's easy to drink. But then he still says, "Well, I make super huge wines, and I'll do it with a rosé." And so, if you get anybody who's afraid of the foo-foo red wine and the pink stuff, give them one of these.
Yeah.
Because I don't smell rosé.
No.
Usually I get strawberries and beautiful berries and that tropical flavors. I'm like
I'm getting a
smelling
big monster.
cab.
Yeah, I'm just a big monster. So
But-
it'll go with your spicier foods though really well.
Oh, absolutely.
Thai food.
But you can still sit by the pool and drink it and
Yeah,
enjoy yourself
yeah.
with fruit salads and things like that.
Yeah.
Typically is what rosés are for. Is your
Or but if you had it was a summer day and you had a spicy salmon, that would work really well.
So where's the spicy salmon?
Have any?
Dad, if you're going to talk food, you got to at least.
I know. He has a food problem.
I
He's got
eat a lot.
He's got a problem, and it starts right about here.
I used to take bear claws 2 at a time. See, the one thing he always hates about me is, yes, I eat like a horse, but unfortunately, Dad, well, not unfortunately, I'm about to experience that for my first time with my boy.
That's true.
And I know my boy
But you
is
don't.
going
But
to
you don't count like a horse.
my son will eat like a horse, and I know it.
What movie was that from? That was another movie.
one?
Another movie that. Well, the first one was Tommy Boy.
We know the Tommy boy. I
Yeah.
know that. What was the second one?
The counting with the foot. My cousin Vinny. With the.
By the way, that is a great
That's
movie.
a great movie.
That's a
man.
great movie on sales, too.
Oh my God.
So,
Oh hell yeah.
what's the price point?
Yeah, price point on this is retail $14. $14.
But it's rosé. It should never be expensive. But of course, there's still people who make expensive rosés because they can.
But that's cool,
great.
man. Holy crap.
You know
That's
what,
ripping.
Dad?
What?
This might work for ham. You can go all the way to ham with this. The thickness of the
Oh.
ham in this might,
and
and we'll get like a honey
I
ham.
didn't think.
We
As
got
long as you got a,
Thanksgiving coming, so I'm just
maybe
thinking.
if you got a little
the
glaze,
the honey
a
glaze.
little glaze on there.
Why not
Okay.
rip through that?
All right,
I
I'm
see why
okay with
not.
that. I'm okay with that. All right. Now,
Good. I don't
2009.
think it's rosé, though.
It's not rosé. It's just a red wine. Just a red wine. Just
It's a big red
2009 Sonoma Valley, Mayacamer Mountain,
wine.
Zinfandel.
Same vineyards as the Chardonnay.
Yes.
So not only can those vineyards produce Chardonnay, they do get enough heat for Zinfandel.
Well, in Zinfandel, this vintage year, 2009, was pretty elegant, and it was hot.
Well,
It
this
was
was-
super warm.
But no, it was a cold start. This
No,
was a cold year.
Cold start, but
Cold
the summer
start.
was hot. Big yield at the end. This is the one where they ran out of barrels. 2009 was when you couldn't get you left the stuff on the vine.
Because of 7 and 8. No.
Oof.
I'm going to go geeky again for you if you don't mind.
All right.
So,
Big jammy.
fun question for you. Do you know the original location of where Zinfandel is located? Its homeland. Do you know where Zin is from?
Homeland. Well, that would be Bennett Valley.
Not homeland. I
Oh.
mean native land. How's that? How about this?
Yeah, Virginia.
No.
What?
Anybody listening live, if they can tell us exactly where Zinfandel is coming from, I will be more than impressed, and I will find out whether or not you're Italian or not. And that's my little hint to you. Do you know where Zin is from?
Chianti.
No, that's Chianti.
Italy.
Well, that's if you're Italian.
Okay.
So
I don't get it.
Zinfandel, they believe original roots come from Croatia. Now, the Italians, who always believe they're number one, believe Primitivo.
Is that because they were
Yes.
flipping somebody off and thought it was number
Well,
one?
yeah, duh. We are number one. But
You're number one.
But the Italians believe Primitivo, the grape of Primitivo, was the very first Zinfandel. So since Croatia and Italy are on the border of each other, the difference between the two grapes is just the clusters. Now, with this Zin, you get a lot of jammy tones.
Yeah, you do.
And the purpose of having jammy tones and knowing that fact that it's a Zin is because of the cluster. The cluster is a very tight cluster with really small berries that are close to each other, which means they have a hard time ripening together, which means you're going to get more of a jammy tone because the other side hasn't ripened. But Primitivo is a bigger grape with gaps. They ripen quicker and give you more earthy tones. And that's where a lot of the pepperiness comes from in Zin. But Primitivo and Zinfandel are the brothers-sisters of each other, which is kind of fun. So if you ever hear Primitivo, it's Zin. Or Zin is Primo. Doesn't matter.
Zin is primo.
Yeah. So there's my fun fact for you.
That's a fun fact. I like it. Well, this is 2009.
This is Zin.
This is legit, no doubt about it.
Do you know how old the vines are? So,
No, because I don't have the tasting notes. I'm looking at 2010 notes.
so
Everything
can
being
you
the same.
clarify for your listeners, what is old vine? So I was in the store the other day and I saw an old vine Zin. And I didn't know what it meant. I'm doing layman terms, sorry.
Okay.
What is old vine?
Well, there really isn't a year that it becomes, but you have to be realistic on old vine. When vines hit about 30 to 40 years, they peak in their quality, and what happens is their yields start to drop off.
Sure.
And when the yields drop off, that concentration going into the smaller mass
Beautiful.
makes a much bigger wine.
Yes, please.
So an old vine could be, something more in the 40, 50-year-old or beyond is realistically an old vine. And,
So I met somebody at Cundy and another winery in Napa. They just broke a 150-year-old vine. Still producing today. Do you remember when we had Bradford Mountain?
yes, right,
Those
yeah.
110-year-old vines.
Yeah, sure.
This thing had holes in the middle. It was falling over and had clusters like this. But then the next year it has clusters like this. So as these vines get older and they struggle as hard as they do, the problem is the consistency of the production is
not
never
there.
the same. But the quality is into another time zone.
Yeah.
So when you do see old vine on a label, there really is no regulation. So my joke was more of a regulation thing.
We got a question. Go ahead. Microphone.
Good job, Brad. I
Microphone.
thought you were supposed to be here.
His way.
How was he watching and he's
So
here?
tell
Because
the,
he's very
tell
talented.
the folks what the question was so you know what.
So the
The answer's Croatia.
answer is Croatia.
Oh,
Correct.
Okay. So Brad
You are
answered?
right, Brad.
Was he at the airport or something? What?
I don't know. But he's watching as driving.
He's watching while he's driving? That's cool, man. Our show is
He's got a
just
TV
being.
screen. Right now, we are live
What's
on
that?
somebody's car.
What? Go ahead. Give it to
Bring
us.
it on.
So-
First of all, tell us where you're from.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
That's a beautiful part of the world. What's
It
your
is.
first
Been
name?
there.
Ashley.
Ashley?
Yes.
That's a great name. That's
Thank
my
you.
that's my niece's name.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
And by the
So-
way, you guys are making great wines out there also.
Oh yeah.
We do.
Yeah, you do.
Your Cab Franc and Viogniers are doing wonderful.
Now, where would I find those? Are they?
Anywhere in North Carolina all the way up to Virginia, closer to
Okay.
the East Coast, it's better for the cooler climate grapes, which is Cab Franc and Viognier.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Well, I have a question. So, I was visiting a winery today, and
Okay.
I told the person that was doing the tasting that I really liked smoky wines, and he told me that I would like 2008 because there were apparently fires in the area, which gave the grapes a smoky taste. So my question is that for real, or was he just literally blowing smoke?
No, there was a big fire, but the fire was much further north.
Way up.
So it would have to be into Mendocino, which is probably 25 miles north, before you would have any impact. Some of it came into Sonoma County, but very, very little. But you're right, the smokiness, it was so overpowering that a lot of producers kept the wine in the barrel trying to extract the smoke, and they couldn't do it. And some of them bottled it, and it never went away. It was horrible. It was really
So
Wow.
for those who like Pinot, Anderson Valley is really known for the Pinot area because it's right on the coast and it's a cooler climate. And that's where the 200,000 acre fire came from. So anything in 2008 that came from Goldeneye, Roederer, Navarro, any of the big producers out there of the big Pinot, yes, you got all smoke all the time. A lot of people filtered 30, 40 times and it still released smoke. But the next vintage was one of the best years they've ever had because the soot replenishes the system. So it's kind of a recycled thing. If you like that literally like cigar, cigarette smoke,
I do.
that's what you're looking for. Look for 2008 Pinots from Anderson Valley.
Love it.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank
yeah,
you.
So great
Great
question.
que-
That's
that's a great
really good.
question.
That's excellent. Good job. Okay, so Deering Winery, 2009. You want a jammy wine? This is jammy all day long.
So
I
what would
have
you
the
pair?
2010.
What would you pair with this?
Well, I can go big on this. I can go to your spicy ribs and things like that.
For Thanksgiving though, we got the
Well,
holiday coming.
Thanksgiving, I'm leaning a little more toward a Pinot, I think. Just
a lot of people
to
do.
be,
Okay, what
traditional.
about Christmas? Can we do prime rib with this?
Oh yeah. If you're going to go prime rib, you could do this. It's big and jammy. So,
Sure,
you
sure,
got a
yeah.
lot of things you can do
You've
with it.
got a lot of tones and different styles that you can create with it.
Love it. All right. Okay. Now I promised you because I was
Yay.
messing around with all these white wines, and
A
I
big
know
boy
that,
wine.
that wasn't. We were.
Now we're going into my world.
Get into some weenie wines. We're gonna. This is
This is one of the
Moon
new,
Dance.
one of your new
New
producers.
Vintners. Yep.
Yep.
2013, all Alexander Valley fruit.
Hoorah.
Aged 14 months in French oak. About a third of that is new oak.
Yep.
Um,
So for those who don't know about, say, 13, 14, 15, this is California drought. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to our grapes. The higher concentration of levels of grapes are just growing each year. They're 13, 14, 15 are into another time zone. But just understand that for once you're finally going to see a price increase within the next 10 years because of this year.
well, you're going to see 15. You're going to pay more. I've been chanting that for months and months.
Yeah, but there's
and
no
months.
fruit. We're
That's
down,
the reason
we're
why
down
you're gonna pay
30 to
more.
40% production. But quality-wise is up 50. So Malbec. A lot of people at home, you see it at home. You see the Argentinian label,
Yep.
Mendoza Malbecs. This is not where it comes from. This is an original Bordeaux grape, which means it comes from France. Yes, it died off. They transplanted it here and in Argentina. It just grows really well in Argentina. But California does make it, but it's not as spicy
No.
as them Mendoza Malbecs.
No, the tannins aren't as big, and this is an example of Alexander Valley
Oh, I can smell
with that nice
Alexander
soft
all
finish.
day long. Now this is prime rib time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Since
You
you're
want
offering-
something big because it's got a big mouthfeel. It's not, that's not wimpy at all. It's
Well, we got to
It-
remember, this is what we blend with our cabs.
yeah.
This is a kind of the final connection to our Cabernets because you need that boldness and that beautiful flavors. This is a great wine. So
Yeah, it's an awesome wine.
this is offered in your wine club.
Yeah, it was in the last shipment. So if you join the wine club, then you would get that. So tell the
Let-
folks about the club.
Well, the best part, it's your club. I
That's
don't know
right.
much about it. I still kind of know a little bit about
Well,
it.
you know
but
a little bit about it.
when you come here, there's a wonderful little flyer. Please look it over. The fun thing about being in a co-op and a small production house like this is when you do wine clubs in this form is you're not getting general public stuff. You're not seeing stuff that you can go to the stores with. These are all small lots. When he talks about 100 cases, 50 cases, I'm sorry, this is not in the store. And the fun part is, what my dad has to go through every single quarter is, what 4 wines are the members going to get that they haven't gotten before? And the whole goal of the wine club is to rotate the wines so you get a little variety of everything and a little different expression of what each one of these vintners do. So what he does is he has his little flyer, and what his club is basically, it's 4 bottles, 4 times a year, so every quarter, but it's a different variety. So he does his summer wines, he does his spring wines, we're getting closer to the winter, so now we're going to get more of the bigger, bolder wines. What are the wines in your wine club shipment this quarter?
Well, we are in the
'Cause you're-
middle of the month, so
You're
I'm
right now at the tail end of
so
the
what
quarter,
I'm-
right?
yeah, but the next shipment isn't until December.
But for now, for those who sign up,
They
you
can have
guys
the
can
current
still
one.
get the current.
Yeah.
Because what's
So that-
fun about the current is the kicker wine at the
Oh,
end.
it's
of
a
it.
killer. This is a great lineup. This is a great lineup. You have
Karina,
T.R.
can you grab
Elliott.
us the wine club wines?
T.R. Elliott Chardonnay,
Which,
2012.
This is T.R.
His-
Elliott. So T.R. Elliott in this brand he's a Pinot Noir producer.
Yeah.
And now he does this beautiful Chardonnay.
Yeah, but you know why he does Chardonnay?
'Cause you told
I
him
talked
to?
to. Yeah, absolutely I did. Yeah, absolutely I did.
Now,
Yeah.
so you have the T.R. Elliott
Like 2 years
Chardonnay,
ago.
which is more French style, more of
Yeah.
the crisp, more acidic, like the James.
Yep.
And then you get James's Pinot, which is what he does best. Since he's ever produced Pinot, all he does is win golds.
Yep.
And he does that at the Harvest Fair.
Mm-hmm.
We get the Moondance Malbec,
Which is what we're having now.
hence why I put it in there.
Yeah, not
And then,
bad.
of course, the kicker. You get a little fun brandy bottle, which is done by one of the top winemakers in the world, which is my boss's wife, which is Heidi Barrett. So she made this wine called Pirate, which is, when you look at the label, yes, it's kooky. But what's in this bottle is not kooky. This
No.
is one of the biggest
No,
wines you're
it's
ever going to
legit.
see. And it's fun because you have a story alone with this, because when your friends try these wines, they've never heard of them.
None
They
of
have
them.
no idea who these
None of
people are. And the fun part, I remember when you started this business, was we need to represent the small guys. These guys got one shot. There's not like they got 1,000 cases and millions of cases to play with. There's one load with this. And they've got to do the best part they can. And it's small crafted. And you really get to see it. And you really get to see the expression each quarter when he brings in the wine club. So with this one, you're seeing a little bit of white. You get your Pinot. And then you get your heavy reds. Well, when the winter comes, that's when all the other fun ones. Are you throwing bubbles in again this year?
No, we're going to
haven't
delay
released
on the.
it.
I can't
Oh.
release it
But
yet.
don't
I
worry.
can't.
Guess what? That means
It's
next year.
I saw the wine. I looked
next
at it.
year
I know it.
we release the new bubbles, and when the bubbles come into play, boom, there's
That-
bubbles.
I mean, that wine rocked.
Yeah, I remember tasting it. It was
Yeah,
fun.
it rocks.
But the fun part is when you go through the expression of the Cellars of Sonoma Wine Club, is these are wines that you get to go to your friends and you get to say is, you've never heard of this, you've never seen this, and there's only one way to get it, and that's through the Cellars of Sonoma family. And then what's always really fun, and I know, Karina, can you do a little scan of our wonderful map? Is when we first started doing this programs, is we decided to put a big map of the United States. And when you put the map of the United States into play, you actually get to put a pin where you live. So we get to find out exactly where all of our wine club members are.
And they're all over the place.
They're all
We've got
over the
them all
place.
scattered all over.
And the best part is we need more pins. So come on in,
Yeah.
enjoy these wines, and it's it's a fun little thing to see. And,
Well, and they're 4 wines you're never going to find anywhere, and
and
they're
the best part
world-class wines.
next
And-
shipment are 4 different wines.
Yeah, and they're all
and
going to be
4 different wines.
And it's 4 big reds coming up December and January.
Well, you have to.
I know. I'm scheming.
Well, the reason why you put the big reds in is now you're in winter.
Yeah.
You got to remember, outside of California, the rest of the world's
Oh, it's
about
going to
to
be
go
cold?
into snow.
Oh, I hate that.
We're not. So even though it's supposed to be 30 tonight, by the way, 30 degrees
30.
tonight,
Ooh,
and then 70 tomorrow.
during the day.
I'm sorry. We're
Okay,
a little
so Karina, can you run through the
Question first.
Oh, go
Yes.
ahead. Go
What
ahead.
does the wine club run you?
All right,
How much,
the
roughly?
wine
Price-wise.
club average is 125 to 180, depending on the wines that you're picking. This one, I think, for the 4 wines was 165 or something. So it's always in that range. And it's always 4 times a year. 4 shipments a year.
So every quarter, you
Every
get
quarter,
4 new wines
you're rocking and rolling.
that you've never seen before, roughly, 120 to 180. And that's just the cost of the wines at a beautiful discount. Now, when you reorder, obviously you get a bigger discount.
Yeah, you get an extra 5% off on reorders, so
Yeah.
that's always a hit
beautiful.
too. So yeah, if you're thinking about the club, try those wines. You'll like them a lot. Coming up this weekend on Thursday, we've got Ricky Allen Ray, Ricky Bob in the house. And then on Friday, we got John Pita in the house.
Little John Mayer.
Yeah, John Mayer. Yeah, well, he does a John Mayer. I'm
He's
telling
got
you.
that raspy voice.
He rocked out. The girls went buck wild. They were working here on Saturday. He kicked it big time.
Wow.
Yeah, he's good. And then you got Falcon Christopher. That's a great show.
So for those who've never seen Falcon Christopher, when he brings his son into play, it's not fair. The guy's a young little stud at 13 or something?
11. He's 11.
My
He's
bad.
only like this
He's at
tall.
11. Yeah, he's going to break some hearts.
Yeah, and he plays bass, and he's just
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The kid, and he's got vocals of, I ain't got that, so.
no.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that at 11 either.
At least
So,
you get music.
Okay, and then mark your calendar, December 3rd. December 3rd, if you're anywhere near here and you don't come here on December 3rd, don't blame me. Our gala event is going to be here. All
Greatest event
8
ever.
wineries will be represented in the room. We've got Heidi Barrett coming in the house. We've got James,
I got to see if Bo can come.
Jeff James from James Family Cellars.
We got to get Bo here.
That would be nice. We've got Ted Elliott from TR Elliott. We've got David Cohen coming in from Moondance. We'll probably have representation from the other wineries as well. We're going to have them scattered in the room. Yeah, we got Jeff James.
And you're
I
going to
said
have
Jeff James.
food pairings?
Yeah,
for
I'll have
wines,
food
or
all the way
just
through the
food
room.
just in general?
And
Okay.
it's well, some of it might be
Oh,
grilled cheese, and
snap.
I make the best grilled cheese on the planet.
But the bottom line is, no wine is good unless it's gourmet grilled cheeses, right?
That's right. And then we'll have it paired up all the way around the room.
Beautiful.
And it's complimentary for wine club and hospitality.
It's been one of
you
my
want to bring
favorite
guests?
events.
It's $35. That's the best $35 you ever come at. You're talking
Since
about.
I've been working here,
I mean,
it is
come on.
the coolest event.
It's a cool event.
It's
the
fun.
best event of the year.
The hardest
That's
thing
December
is to get them all
5.
in at one time.
It's like
Build
herding
a-
cats, man.
Oh,
It's
brutal.
Yeah,
A little bit of cattle.
yeah.
So,
Don't.
thank you for the beautiful one, by the way.
That was good, huh? Yeah. All right, we did good.
So,
Yeah, don't forget the gala event. That's our premier event. Okay, Karina, I need 1 glass real quick. 2 more glasses, please. Yeah, because this stuff is like, no,
Champagne
it's
glass. No?
this is at the end of your meal when you're getting out the tiramisu or you're getting out the maybe some cheese. You can do cheese and sweeter wines.
Creme brulee.
Yeah, creme brulee. This is a Demi-Sec Chardonnay, 2010. So it's semi-sweet.
Sure.
Compared to what we just had, it's going to be really sweet.
Does it tell you the 28?
It's without malolactic fermentation.
Sure.
28.4 bricks. So you're trying to harvest it with a little bit of sugar, and got a gold medal in the
Does that
Chronicle
mean it's
tasting.
higher alcohol?
Don't know.
This says 25.5.
Is that what it says?
It's actually so whenever you see demi-secs, late harvest, dessert wines, you're actually going to have lower alcohol. And the reason why you have lower alcohol is you're keeping the sugars.
Yeah. Residual sugar on that's 4.5. So that's
Which means you're going to
which was when we did the brut, right? That
That's
was
a
like
lot.
1 point. We did like 1.3
1.2.
or
No,
2.
1.1 was our magic number.
Was that the magic number?
Yep. But when it comes to lower alcohol in your dessert wines, that's because you're going to have higher residual sugar content because that's what you're looking for.
So for the customer that wants a sweeter wine but not syrupy sweet, that's going to work really well. If you've got a powerful dessert, you know,
You can serve your in-laws who love white Zin. This is your wine.
yeah, you can definitely do that. And the retail on that is 18, and I have the wrong price here, but it's actually $9 a
should
bottle.
It
It's
should be
$9. Yeah, it's $9.
Drink it up.
Yeah, $9, and
You can have it for dessert. You can
Yeah.
have it for appetizers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the great.
Yay! Yay! Good
Perfect,
job.
yeah.
Good job. Thank you.
Smart
Thank you,
people.
guys. All right, we'll see you.
Thanks, guys.
So, yeah, the Demi-Sec's a fun wine. I got a little bit here, and then that's gone too. I mean,
Remember,
that's,
this
you
is
know.
the time when you can pull out the chocolates. You can pull out the fun.
Yeah,
things.
you could
This
do.
is
You know what you could do, like a
white
white
chocolate?
chocolate would be
Sure.
really kind of cool with that.
little caramel.
You're
little
frowning.
tones.
You give me that like, wow, that's weird. The Demi-Sec?
It's been here for a long time.
I'm not a huge, big.
But he went
you know.
from late harvest Chardonnay to Demi-Sec. Remember when he first started the little late harvest small bottle Chardonnay?
No, that was. Well, he had a.
Whoa.
Wasn't Chardonnay though? Well,
Yes, it was.
Was it? Okay. All right. I don't remember.
It was a late harvest chard, but
I
the
don't
bottom
know.
line is there's always time for desserts.
Yeah.
Some people love the dessert wines. My girlfriend down there, she loves her tawnies and ports and all those fun things. Me, I'm a Scotch guy, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And there's a time and a place for everything. But this is when you bring out the desserts. This is the apple pies. This is your creme brulees. This is your chocolates.
Yeah.
This is your late cheeses.
It'll
late
hang in
night.
there, and it's not
Yeah.
it's not over the top
No,
sweet.
but the
No.
best part is it's not thick.
Yeah.
It's not syrupy. It's not the heavy tones that we're all used to seeing when it comes to dessert wines.
Yeah.
So
Well, I got to say that was a neat little lineup,
it was fun.
and I want to thank all of you guys for drinking the wine, because that's what you do best is drinking the wine. So good, give yourself a hand. Good job. I can hear that. And I want to thank Jen for helping us out, making sure everybody's got wine in their glass. And we want to thank Karina for making sure we stay on track. And thank you, Kevin, for coming in to fill in for Dave and giving us some geeky stuff, along with,
I get to do it for a living. I might as well come and help you.
Yeah,
And the best part
I
is
gotta
I
love
don't
that.
have to check in.
That's right.
But
So-
I'm never upset coming in and doing a show with you.
Oh, good.
I love
good.
doing
Well,
your
thank you.
shows.
Thank you. So we're
Make
gonna
it
we're gonna taste some big wines next week. So yeah, I'm gonna go after target some really big wines. I'm targeting the wine club shipment.
Okay.
So I
but here's
might
the bottom
tease
line
you a
is,
little bit.
Guess what? I'm coming back next week because you're not going to give me the foo-foo wines and then not give me the big ones. I will see you all next week. I am going to be live next week because I'm coming for the good stuff.
I love that. Well, this is where you discover wine one sip at a time here at Cellars of Sonoma. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye for now. Woo! Yeah.
Cheers. Happy holidays.